possessions last year. That's swatted away by Lubin.
And numbers for the Tar Heels with Gillis down in the backcourt.
Powell tiptoeing in, and another goaltending.
And I believe they will look at this one later.
He was in a wheelchair for a while on his way to have an x-ray. The x-ray was negative. He's responded well to treatment, but not going tonight. And there's the slam by Powell.
A beautiful find from Ben Allen Lubin. The nice cut.
Last 9. Davis. He beats Powell. And short for the long jumper. So Duke's starting to look pretty darn comfortable. Powell gets it up. That won't drop. Knipp with the rebound.
And obviously, when you can't stop the Blue Devils on the other end of the floor, Knipp showing that he's much more than just a shooter.
Beautiful pass, and Powell up for the lay-in. To make it. Lubin asking for the ball. Does not get it. Davis does. For Powell in the corner. Airmailed that one, and another whistle. Battled each other.
It hasn't happened much this year.
293 games, I think it is. So that should be a terrific matchup. The tip is going to be up and in by Lubin. Proctor knocked away and stolen by Cadeau. He's got Powell, and he'll lay it in. And a foul. Drake Powell. A ferocious comeback for the Heels. Powell lines up a long one. He can't hit it. Valawa's got up real high for that board.
Oh, they go. They've got production out of Efton Reed on the interior as of late, but it's normally going to be those two guys that have to get the job done in the scoring column.
Big Powell kind of allowed to do what he wanted to do there, and he banks it in. The talented freshman
that has all the energy at first, but it's been the Demon Deacons here to start tonight.
Cadeau kicks it out for Powell. He'll fire it up there, in and out.
Hobie, that shot was an afterthought. Wake Forest has 9 more shots than does North Carolina right now, 27-18.
Powell trying to fade away. That was an almost impossible shot.
Steve Forbes was upset about that rebounding advantage.
They've also been hitting their threes in a big way. Let's see if Powell can. A misfire there. 39-32 Carolina. Long happened there. Shot clock at 9. Davis chased by Reed. Powell pulls up at the elbow. No.
Great job defensively by Efton Reed.
Cadeau to Davis. They'll swing it. R.J. Davis, 41% beyond the three-point line. Powell's going to lift that one and swish it in. Drake Powell gets him started.
And Drake Powell has
9 against Air Force in 1975.
AD, you're talking about one of the best of all time.
Powell shot. Airmailed it. That didn't touch anything. Carolina with another opportunity. Cadeau, who has hit a 3 in this one. Powell on the attack and drops it in.
Smart play by Drake Powell, recognizing defender close.
Put up their 8th consecutive first half of scoring at least 42 points. On the run out, Powell to lay it in, and that's a North Carolina fast break.
It really is, and give Elliot Cadeau a tremendous. Hubert Davis was wondering where this production has been from his front court all season long.
Passed it so well today, and they continue to do that as Powell finishes.
And great recognition.
It's over at halftime. Yeah. Whatever happened in the second half really didn't matter.
Cadeau draws a crowd. The kick to Drake Powell. And the freshman knocks down a 3. It has been, by the way, Janai Broome scored 34 today for Auburn, although it was Alabama winning at Auburn in overtime on a runner by Mark Sears as time expired. Carolina ball again.
Now Carolina's getting out in transition. That's where they're dangerous.
Powell for 3. And Flag down with a rebound for the Blue Devils.
To that left hand. He's just a big-time player.
And as Duke fans well know, he's been an extraordinary second-half player in games this year. A tough turnaround for Drake.
He's got to start moving the ball. Duke's defense has been set with these switches.
No R.J. Davis, been on the bench about the last 2.5 minutes. Powell a step-back 3.
There's too many tough shots.
The number one thing John Shire wanted tonight was a win, obviously, but do you think it's good that Duke really got pushed? They have been blowing everybody out in the ACC the last few weeks. Is it good for them to get a
find the open man, and good by Hammond to be ready to shoot?
They've been a really good three-point shooting team in conference play. Powell set up by Cadeau. It's 2 assists for Cadeau and a 3. There's some history. No at-large team has ever had a record that bad in quad 1. Again, this is year 7 of the system and made the field. So let's just simplify it. If history
Got to maximize Cooper Flag and everything else around him.
knocked away from Young, here's Davis. And a nice little handoff to Powell for a Tar Heel lead.
Virginia Tech's got to be careful not to let this get away from him.
Freshman Powell once again has delivered great energy. Gets it back from Cadeau, slashes, and couldn't finish. Rimmed it out around the 7-footer Wessler. 32-5. Tortured Hokies department most of the night here in Blacksburg, and Powell adds to it. The 12th North Carolina 3. You got to pronounce it like Adam Sandler did. Chalamet.
I didn't actually watch.
Jackson, Powell, another. Nice. Please, sir.
Man almighty.
13 for.
And you know the formula is really easy for North Carolina today. Just don't slip up.
Don't slip up. Is it that easy?
Yes.
It's that easy. Yes, it is that easy because they figured it out. And it's been over the last season, given the challenges that Miami's faced all year, but he's got tremendous potential.
Does this Powell sizes it up and swishes it in. A 3.
He's shot preppy to make it to postseason.
North Carolina 1-10 in quad 1s on the bounce. Back and make a shot. Drake Powell, the freshman, he is gifted. Lubin with 8 points in the second half. Powell with a misfire.
I love that shot, though. Dan applied.
And then the second game against Duke on March 8 on ESPN at 6:30. Here's Powell open in the corner. Yes, sir.
That's pretty stuff. I mean, good ball.
Lubin back for Davis. Lubin quite a presence in the second half. Trimble shot. Didn't get there, but Powell cleans it up.
A quick jump, too.
In front, 21-2 at Chapel Hill on Saturday. Cadeau gives it up. First jumper on the way, and that'll be off target by Powell, who's been
early in the possession.
His last 49 threes, the attempts, he's hit 32 of them. On the run, Carolina. Powell will race and lay it in.
And that's North Carolina basketball. Misses or lead.
Yeah, Ewan missing a pair. Nice feed. Powell with the stuff. Something Carolina has turned up a notch. They're Watkins on the move. Mid-range jumper short. FSU with a man down. Powell to the other end of the floor. A quick strike.
And Ewan down in the backcourt side, able to get into the paint and finish with the soft touch. But it will be March Madness soon for the ladies on ESPN.
And I think it's going to be a great. Can't sink it. Rebound tipped twice. Comes right to Powell. He wants to drive it right downhill and swat it away. FSU said no, no, no.
But the best part about it.
Well, take a look at this one, everybody. At Chapel Hill, North Carolina, the Tar Heels getting off to a tremendous start with a 15-2 lead already against Virginia. Dave O'Brien alongside Corey Alvarez.
And OB, the last time you and I saw North Carolina, it was a game where we felt like they needed to have against Clemson on the road as Drake Powell's able to get the and-run opportunity at the rim.
Scoring first half with 7 points. Shot clock down to 7. Cadeau with a kick out. Powell wants to heave it and hits it from three-point territory.
First half after getting down 19 early. They're going to continue to fight. That's one of the things that Ron Sanchez loves most about this team, especially when things aren't going their way.
Powell with a misfire from the corner.
To be the decision maker.
Under 3 to go here at Chapel Hill. Powell got it up with that left hand. It won't drop for him.
It's a great job by Buchanan staying. Hall of Famer Roy Williams. And so when you think about a tradition that is like none other in North Carolina, they kept the JV going much longer than anyone else has. But once again, going back to 1970.
That's the best idea of where the ball's coming off. And you're not often thinking about blocking out the shooter in that sort of situation. Powell with a nice move to the cup. Drake Powell.
Neal. That's with a heat check. And
Who you can beat, not just who you can be beaten by, or you're willing to play. At the same time, there are teams out there that, like this team in Carolina, the more they play together, the more they're going to find it.
8 and 30 minutes. Jackson. Inside Carlos. Driver finds Powell. And a rebound high pointed by Taylor. 3 to play. Davis senses an opening. Missed it. And Powell's there on the spot. Couldn't finish. Rebound Starling.
Syracuse dodged one.
Here to take advantage of his size and then to turn around right over top of Drake Powell, who was undersized, having to defend him.
Cadeau really pushing the tempo. Drake Powell with a miss, so Tigers collapsing on him.
Oh, great hands by Eddie Jackson.
Jackson coming from behind on the theft. Powell tiptoeing through for 2.
Nice response defense. He's tired, OB. He's gassed right now. Put him in pick and roll action.
Powell will lift one. Locken going to chase it. Got to it in the corner. Trying to make a run here in the last 90 seconds. Powell into the paint with a turnaround. Too strong.
But Chauncey Wiggins able to slide his feet. And the
shot clock a factor. Down to 5. Davis. Cross court. Tough pass. Here's Powell's shot. Another one and done.
But great job defensively.
Davis with a bounce feed. Cadeau downstairs. Powell going up strong for 2.
Nice play by Elliot Cadeau getting in there. And he's had a few miscues.
Davis on the switch has Corin defensively. Under 5 to shoot. Powell on the pull-up. Pretty stroke, and that is why NBA folks are very high on number. Trimble gives it back to Cadeau. See what action they can get into with 5 on the shot clock. Powell has to put it out. Withers kept it.
Will be rocking for that game against South Carolina.
Jorge Diaz-Gran off the bench misses, and it leads to a run out. Long missed shots lead to runouts and positions that they have that people like you and I just can't understand.
Well, they clearly get the same haircut. The same guy's cutting both hair.
Drake Powell off the back iron. Coming in a career. The second leading scorer in program history. Drake Powell ducks under. Couldn't get the rim. Shot clock down to 1 as the ball went out of bounds. Drake Powell.
It's not a good shot.
On the step back over the 7-footer. Jalen Washington hands it back to the point guard Cadeau into the corner. Now that's a better shot for the freshman. Drake Powell offensively to what happened at the Peterson Events Center a couple of weeks ago when Pitt came back to beat the Tar Heels.
Shot selection, and that was a gutsy one there.
Barrones solamente en el cielo para ellos. RJ Davis. Jackson para en la punta de la llave. Falla aquí la canasta. Triples incluidos. No pierde el ánimo. North Carolina. El disparo de Powell falla. Proctor con el rebote. La jugada era buena, mejor el robo y la volcada acá de parte de Drake Powell, suplente. RJ Davis, Powell en la esquina falla, Lubin el rebote es enorme, falta Seth Trimble. La personal, Powell en la esquina, en cesta. Ahora sí funcionó y la expectativa que hubo. Sufrió muchísimo Zion en ese sentido, Antonio.
Sí, para mí fue una víctima de su propio éxito tan repentino. Las redes sociales, en ese porcentaje para ir para Chapel Hill, el ambiente que vemos aquí básicamente es el que se va a ver allá. y vienen de ganar también otra rivalidad porque es un triángulo realmente de universidades contra el Wolfpack en esta misma.
Le requieren nivel a tope, pero así responde la Universidad de Duke. Foul y cuenta. Powell.
Already with a couple of knockdown Jays and just able to give you a little bit of the wiggles to get into the paint easily.
Into the freshman Drake Powell, who scores through traffic. Carolina has hit 6 of its last, shooting 9 for 13. R.J. Davis yet to attempt a shot. He has a couple of assists. Powell, that shot rejected by Austin. A high flyer, back to Powell.
Getting on the high side of that screen, forcing him down into the actual screen, but just got to the spot.
Another assist for Cadeau out of the screen and roll. Carolina's hit it. The Tar Heels can make them pay for it. They cannot. Austin with another blocked shot. Powell will lay it in off the block, and that snaps an 8-0 Pitt run.
So Cadeau is out of the game with 4 fouls. Carolina by 2 off the Austin free throws. Powell will shoot a 3. Well short. And rebound Cam Corrin.
Davis goes right by Brown. They kick it out to Powell. Rare offensive rebound by the in turnovers in this game. They average 12 per game. Powell to the rack and throws it down. Oh my!
And BC was just not. Yeah, they're going to be the team that's going to be playing a lot more freely, a lot more loose.
Ejection underneath. Carolina gets it back. Harts took issue with that. Here's Powell for 3 and got it. That's a big one for Powell. College team the other night at Virginia. It is hard to believe this is the same team playing basketball here today. And here's a forced 3 there. That's what Hubert Davis was talking about before the
freshman coming in averaging 15 points a game. He can hit the 3. That has been a real struggle for North Carolina, that particular stat. A mid-range jumper. They hit a lot of 2s. And Powell knocks down that.
It's fitting, though.
Sure is.
Single digits outside.
My goodness. Getting it downstairs and collapsing on defense. Wake Forest with the rejection. His
3 assists to 0 turnovers. So you have to say that he has been the catalyst for what North Carolina's been able to do offensively here this evening.
Rebound comes out high.
You know, Hunter Sallis talked about his confidence when coming from Gonzaga, where he wasn't much of a factor to being at Wake Forest, but he was the guy. His confidence skyrocketed from that.
Powell went for a reverse, but he was shut down. Tonight's game track is brought to you by E-Trade from Morgan Stanley. Davis averaging 17, 9 so far tonight. Here's Powell to launch. He got a really good look. Cadeau for the corner. Powell, a rainbow, no. Hildreth, another rebound.
And 0 of 9 from 3.
Carolina needs a smart shot. Powell's open. And they have gone over 5 minutes.
Not going to stop. They're not concerned about what the numbers look like. They're going to do everything they can to try to help their team win this game.
Powell left to shoot it and swishes it in.
In the paint, drawing a double team, getting your defense spread out.
R.J. Davis a feed to Powell, and he knocks in the 3 to tie the game. Good defense there by Jalen Washington, and here comes R.J. Davis. Great feed and a block underneath. Wow, by the freshman Donovan Young.
I think the one, if they really wanted to flip, would have been the Alabama game here. That really would have been a good one to, because then they beat, with the UCLA.
The basketball well. He's a guy that's put a lot of work in on the jump shot, but you can see the work is paying off.
Look at this. Powell, the length of the floor.
Transition. Coach talked about that.
Answers to the test.
You got to get back. You got to be able to get back.
And there's a turnover at the post. Carolina running again. Here's Powell on another scoop. And Campbell collects.
The coach is
the basket and get your stuff on the offensive glass.
Here's Lubin setting the screen. Davis foul line.
Leaves it for Powell. Long three. Good. Drake Powell's got 5. Remember, because you lost. It is absolutely on tape. ESPN Plus.
I want a red flag. I want the red flag.
We can find it on ESPN Plus. There's Powell on the stick back. I'll get you poor folks out of this right here.
Please.
Believe it or not, our next dead ball gives us a timeout. 3 ball from the left is short. Parker the rebound off the Powell miss. Double team coming. Withers quickly in the corner. Powell. Baseline around Ishmael Duke. Can't finish. Washington collects and scores on Carolina's second. Went to World War II to serve his country and came back. And of course, finished at Carolina. Here's Powell on the turnaround. And NC State the rebound. Bobby Mock and Fred Schwartzberger. It was ruled his first bucket at 2. And now the Wolfpack with their largest lead. Powell to tie, and does. Drake Powell's first points in the state. And Washington on the rebound for Carolina. Quick outlet, Cadeau. Tar Heels transition with Powell. Drake down the lane, off the window and in.
Boy, that is some moves right there, Wes.
Yep.
It was 1 on 2.
Doe a 3. Bounds away. Powell kept it alive, and Jackson back for Drake Powell, who sets. Off the mark, Washington and Middlebrooks. Field goals in the first half. Reverses back against Middlebrooks. Can't score. They scramble inside. There's Powell and the stick back. Second chance points for Drake Powell.
Line did on that possession.
Washington, Powell, Jackson, Davis, and Cadeau on the floor for Hubert Davis. And here is Drake Powell in traffic. Ball away, bounces free. Cross the rebound for SMU.
It's a tentative against this zone defense.
So
and the reason you play a zone is to make a team stand around, and that's what we've seen.
Powell goes hard to the basket and off the glass.
That'll work.
Edwards stays on the floor. They've also got Chuck Harris off the bench. He's a talented scorer, averaging 11.4 for Coach Enfield. 3 out of the corner by Powell is good. Drake Powell with 5. Working against Miller.
It's an advantage to the zone the more you dribble it out there.
Tremble in the air. Powell tees one up and hits.
But when you're going to dribble against the zone, that's what you do.
Knocks down long 3. 20-13. Here's a kick to the right wing. Powell tees up another one. Sure. Drake Powell had 12. Center in Raleigh for State Carolina at 4 o'clock. And then the Hokies are in Berkeley at the Haas Pavilion for 6 o'clock start Eastern time against the Golden Bears. Powell, the missed jump shot from the baseline. Powell for Jackson. Back for Drake Powell. Spot up jumper. Tried to follow his own miss. And Bill Covington said, sure are. Tremble off the ball screen of Powell. Right back for Drake's 3 out of the corner. Too strong. Long rebound handled by Miller and SMU as we get to 3 minutes. Carolina by 14. Powell trying to take Cross off the bounce. Fights through and scores. What a tough move and score for the freshman Drake Powell.
Control of the ball going up. Now, he put that ball on the rim and grabbed the rim, then it's a different story.
Powell a 3. Bounds away.
But they've done a great job taking care of the ball.
Jackson skips it for Powell. Drake slides to the basket in traffic. Too strong in the rebound. And here comes B.J. Edwards and SMU for Davis. Tried to get it to Ian Jackson. Here he is in the corner. Powell tees up a 3. And a technical foul.
On who?
Just working on B.J. Edwards. RJ with Yigitolu. Skips for Powell. 5 to shoot. Drake a hanging 2. And Cross.
Wes, one of the things that's been going on.
Game plan will be
10 on the timer. Cadeau, the probing dribble, kick corner. Powell. Rainbow miss. Weak side foul on North Carolina for Davis. You see the hand signal there from Shrewsbury playing with a foul. Out of the corner. A lot of outside shots.
one of the keys as well. Transition defense.
Animated coaching from Hubert Davis throughout. Oh, thread the needle. What a cut. What a pass. And Powell pounds home the dunk. Pumped it up.
Powell, the jab step, 4 to shoot. Jackson has to put it up. Powell does it, the horn! Tipped, and Shrewsbury has
down, although he scored 11 a game in the 2 ACC matchups, and typically plays better at home, but he can defend, he can score in transition, he can make threes.
Grimace at Notre Dame averages 10.5 giveaways a game, already 8 with 4 to go in the first half.
Yeah, that's the problem. That's been a huge part of the issue.
Powell wide open.
But that's by design, John.
To spread the floor. Davis been more of a creator today. Opposite, wide open. Powell rolls around a mess.
Front end of 1-and-1 just a couple of possessions ago, but they've still made good use of the advantage at the free throw line.
All day. Rainbow make. Powell pops it in.
That three in the corner.
The freshman Powell fading away, left it short. Card for the home team Cardinals.
Chucky Hepburn got caught on a switch and did a really good job of running Jalen Washington out, but it opened up that driving lane for Drake Powell.
It over. Drake Powell pull up pop, got it.
Back-to-back buckets by the rookies.
Offensive rebound, Washington. Powell. He can't connect. 2 really good looks on this possession. Has started to heat up.
Hubert Davis was trying to get Van Allen Lubin to clear out of the way so RJ could go one-on-one with Rain.
9 points for the Tar Heels after a quiet beginning. Powell takes it lefty, no good.
They're looking to attack, always looking downhill, trying to drive into the paint, get a piece of the paint.
And
just
then
like that.
Pass it off. Drake Powell the finish, but it was all set up.
Step up screen, slipping out of that. Good pass.
Freshman to freshman, Ian Jackson finds a wide open Drake Powell.
EKU, Pat Kelsey's first thing in the post-game press conference is toughness on Noah Waterman. You saw it right there.
And somehow that falls in. 10, here's Javon Hadley, spins past Withers, trying to find Smith in the corner, knocked away.
RJ Davis read that hammer screen action on the backside perfectly to get North Carolina the steal.
Off to Powell. Shot clock down to 8. Here's Drake Powell. Pull up pop. And it rims out no good.
7. He's now 16 for 31 from 3, Colby Dugan. Cadeau feeds Powell. This game being played from behind the arc, and Tyson goes over the top. Eflin, the scorers, and Duke has been, along with Tennessee, maybe one of the 2 best defensive teams in the country to start. As that shot will be goaltended on the way down for Powell.
But the other thing, I don't think was his position and allows Withers to turn into him, then that's a different story. But Sonati's the one who initiated that contact.
So non-shooting foul, no free throws, and there's Powell. A 2-point jumper is good for high in the Dean Dome.
When you're talking about Washington, that's part of the issue for Hubert Davis and his staff. There's Powell's another one of those youngsters who can put themselves in a position to be in a position, and now they just have to produce.
Would you say the ceiling is the roof for Carolina?
Yes, absolutely.
Powell hits a 3, 92 for the Heat.
Particularly late in the shot clock. Nice
switch up.
Yeah, he is tough. Philadelphia.
In the paint, running. Struck things off for Drake Powell.
I think a little relocation.
Powell kicks it back outside to Davis. Cadeau out. Powell on a 3. Got it.
Goodness, they needed some of that. His 9th.
In the paint, the bounce out by Lubin. And a little fall away here. That's going to swish in. Powell gets the first bucket, the 6'6".
But he is offensive rebounding.
Sophomore now from Nigeria, played his freshman year at Washington State. Only 6 points a game. And nothing but air under that long jump shot by Powell.
From FAU, he can score and he can defend.
15 points, 11 rebounds, 6 assists this weekend. One and done, Carolina.
You got to pick them up quickly.
Carolina's missed 6 consecutive shots. Powell on the drive, pretty scoop, but no. Florida's going to run there in Charlotte. And defensively collapsing, Lubin getting up high. On the other end, Powell. And a slam by Lubin.
18th overall at 86 points a game. But as you mentioned where they are in the ACC, how about 333rd in the country in defense? That's not going to cut it. Left hand in midair for Drake Powell.
But, you know, he's just done a great job.
You know, many believe that the job here in North Carolina is here's a 3 by Powell, came down to Hubert.
Concussion. He got smoked with a screen 2 weeks ago against Cincinnati. And then Kwesi Reeves, the senior, who last year hit 38% from 3. He's dealing with a foot injury. He missed it from long range. Still looking for our first points out of halftime.
We talk about the lack of front court production. He'll get some on the offensive glass.
Ball fakes. He is looking at me. He just winked at me. Oh, my goodness.
Now inside, hangs and hits. Nelson puts it on the floor. Carolina back the other way. Powell puts it in. Up, lost the handle, but it kicks out to fellow freshman Drake Powell. Powell with the size advantage over Sears. Too strong. And Houston Jackson spinning. Powell will try. Can't hit. Davis 1.5 points a game. And
I mean, think about what this team could have been if Whitesell didn't get hurt. I mean, they also have Chris Youngblood coming back. He's a transfer from USF. He provides physicality.
But the group that has the Lakers, OKC, Golden State, and the Suns, that may be, I think they've been referred to as the group of death.
Yeah.
In the Emerald. That's a big deal. And speaking about taking it serious, the Spartans have taken it serious here. Already the largest lead of 9.
Drake Powell for 3.
He's got that. Drake had with a little.
Powell. What a finish.
But when you think about Xavier Booker having to guard Drake Powell.
The foul goes against Kohler. They're going to say by virtue of the call that he pushed Washington into that pin.
And I can understand that also. In comparison to the Hunter, and I think that's what the Carolina Tar Heels are going to have to be able to take on a better mentality at the beginning of games.
Powell creating a shot for himself. He has 10. Between these two name brand squads, a takeaway by Davis. Ahead to Powell, and North Carolina leads. Deep corner 3, and the friendly rims of Lahaina Civic Center. Izzo leaning on Trey Holloman to be the conductor here with Jeremy Fears on the bench. An open look for Powell. Great ball movement by North Carolina.
I thought Elliot Cadeau gave up a...
Not there for Fiddler. Powell leaves it short. Rebound, Holloman.
You can see left out possessions. Bruce Pearl going to a 1-3-1 zone defensively, changing it up on North Carolina coming out of the timeout.
Powell from the mid-range. Well, these freshmen on the floor, invitational champs, but they were not in the SEC at the time of those titles.
Correct.
Here's Powell. He sails long, and it is Chaney Johnson who...
Howie Invitational, one of the best to do it along the college basketball sideline.
Yeah, one of the great things he said was he wouldn't leave, as you see the 3 from the corner by Drake Powell. They needed that. He wouldn't leave. He wouldn't. Left corner. This is Powell.
Drake Powell did. We saw them working on this in their shoot-around earlier today, being able to identify the shooters and finding a way to try to keep these North Carolina offensive players out of the paint. It worked on that possession. With Middle Tennessee being in the championship game, you got to say that because it could be a Middle Tennessee event.
Well done, my friend. Drake Powell missing on the...
And Ian Jackson and Drake Powell coming off the bench. So as a starter, you don't have a choice but to perform.
Nice pass underneath and the finish by Drake Powell. 6'6" freshman.
Over America, they've been brutally efficient. 9 for 16 now from the field. Cadeau splits the 2. Top throw now by the freshman Drake Powell. To take it himself. Cadeau, shot fake. Back for Davis, another 3. This one also doesn't go. And Powell is there, and he missed the bunny. And then 3 American play. Energy to this building. Carolina's led by Cadeau, 13, 4 assists, 3 steals. Here's the freshman Powell shoving his way in, and then Washington got hit the back to create space, and he still missed it from 3. Rebound to Cadeau. Give him another one. Give him one now. Powell for 3. UNC's 0 for 8.
I think you just got to keep feeding our
Raptors at Bryce Gordon Center yet?
transferred.
Oh, wow. What is that? Cadeau spinorama. And then Powell. Can Cadeau get an assist for that just for...
There's no calling out plays using your voice in this barn tonight. Drake Powell, one of the top freshmen in this program. He's from Pittsboro, North Carolina.
I think he's going to shoot a high percentage this year.
Powell, no. Mayo the rebound, but down to Brown. Davis misses the hook, and time for Carolina. Powell, end-to-end, and that's going to count.
All lineup, you have to expect that Kansas is going to look more to Hunter Dickinson as a result.
Wide open in the corner, and an air ball by Powell.
Kansas just couldn't get
His team was not starstruck. The awe-stricken coming into the Dean Dome has absolutely worked because they've come out very confident.
There's Powell at the foul line. It bounds away. Rebound pulled down by Sherritt.
To be called that, wants to be called his full first name.
Yeah. TK is Takai. And Billy Taylor says, I just call him Takai and Tawan. There's Drake Powell's first basket as a Tar Heel.
His dream to be able to do that for the home state group.
And here is Powell, open floor, with Simpkins trailing.
And that's where Drake...
And TK Simpkins rattles out the 3. Trimble the rebound. Here's an outlet for Powell. And he will take Simpkins. Got the block on Drake Powell. Elon the other way.
Was comparing it to was a season ago where you got Armando Bacot, Harrison Ingram, and Cormac Line. 3 big-time talkers.
Yeah.
Guys that communicated very well. So the difference in seeing that and what you have now off with a battle against, of course, the traditional rival in UCLA. So always a big-time schedule.
Powell out of the corner, too strong, missed everything. Jackson the rebound, 10 to shoot. Back for Cade Tyson. Shot fake on Van Coleman. There's Powell, will spot up. And Van Coleman at 7-4 pulls the basket going to the locker room. He does. Sherry on a bounce pass. That got blocked. Here's Drake Powell. Pull up at the horn. Off the rim.
Commanding the ball again. He'll shoot it.
Nice job there by Drake Powell. Boxing out Spillers, keeping him on.
53-52. Reed. Hildreth will line it up. And a lot of iron, but it rolls off.
You can't ask for better offense if you're Steve Forbes. Great play by...
But on the dribble. On the bounce speed. Kinesi outside. Alako, no. Alako does hit 46% beyond the three-point line, but not that one.
Yeah, he was every day. Well, I thought Van Allen Lubin was right there to tip that ball in. Thought he got fouled. Tipped out. Here comes Trimble. Going at Flag. And the screen to try to free up Proctor. That puts Cadeau on Flag. Knipple rises up for a three. Rebound Powell. The heels running. And
5 minutes. The teams are 7 for 11 so far. No turnovers yet. That jumper by Johnson too short. Rebounded by Powell. Carolina loves, but they probably have to win one more.
I think they're playing well enough to do that. The challenge is if it's going to be Duke, that's a great challenge.
Down the floor for Jackson. His layup is 7 for 14. Continue their ridiculous shooting. Tough one by Shoot, grab by Powell. And the heels are off and running again.
Great Powell with his tremendous athleticism. Man, it can be freaky at times. Davis launches a long one. Rebound tipped out high. The second chance for the Tar Heels.
And that's Powell. I mean, it's athleticism, but it's just that split just opened things wide up. And a little bird in my ear just told me in French, cadeau means gift. That open lane was quite the gift.
52-33. Johnson with really good hustle to free it. Huey with a one-hander, no. Rebound bouncing around, and it comes to Davis. Bethea, McDonald's All-American, around and out. Very talented kid. Pennsylvania Gatorade Player of the Year, Miami's.
Into the shot. And there are metrics out there for it, but ultimately you just watch and you know what I'm talking about.
Johnson turns and missed ugly with that one. Lubin back for Davis. Lubin quite a presence in the second half. Trimble shot. Didn't get there, but Powell cleans it up.
A quick jump, too.
That's in close.
Yes, very good minutes from Cade Tyson as Watkins lines up another three, unable to get that one to go. But I love the confidence of Jamir Watkins shooting the basketball. He did get a bucket.
Yeah, I would not bet against that ever. Davis can't sink it. Rebound tipped twice. Comes right to Powell. He wants to drive it right downhill. And well, take a look at this one, everybody. At Chapel Hill, North Carolina, the Tar Heels getting off to a tremendous start with a 15-2 lead already against Virginia. Dave O'Brien.
Ball making plays to set his team up for success.
Power coming off the bench and misfires on the three. So the fans begin to
for Trimble to cut where he could present himself as a receiver.
Parker lines one up. It's a little bit long. Great Powell's back into the game. Here come the heels.
NC State did enough.
This is their really good version. There's another turnover. Davis open for three. Powell offensive rebound. Carolina. This is like old school Carolina attacking.
That's just a two. It's a tough two, and that's what North Carolina wants to force NC State into.
And Jaden's doing everything he can to keep him in it. He's got 9. Shot clock didn't reset. It didn't hit the rim. Now it did. And yet another offensive rebound from North Carolina.
Izzy's to go. 3 to play. Davis senses an opening. Missed it. And Powell's there on the spot. Couldn't finish. Rebound Starling.
If Chase is able to knock that one down.
You're begging if you think that should happen, right? Davis fires it up there, but no. Powell kept it alive. And that one goes down for Cadeau. And again,
in Atlanta, thinking to themselves, all we have to do is show up.
Rejected by Wiggins. Davis trying to tiptoe that line, but he can't do it.
Environment that they'll see on the road.
Comes spinning inside. Comes out free to Powell. Up ahead, and Tyson will lay it in.
Have a chance to get to the league, and he did. I kind of feel the same way about Zach Austin. He can shoot it really well. He's a terrific athlete, and you saw what he did as an on-ball defender right there against a really good player. In that game back in December, he was 6 of 8 from three-point land. He can shoot it, makes 1 out of 2 from the line to draw Pitt back within 8.
No tanto, no de manera tan abrumadora. Pero qué temporada está firmando la Universidad de Duke.
Sí, con rivalidades por todos lados. Pues en ese porcentaje para ir para...
Yet to attempt a shot. He has a couple of assists. Powell, that shot rejected by Austin. A high flyer. Back to Powell. Trimble, end of the shot clock. He got Davis guarded by Leggett. Cadeau will take his third three. And Powell tips it out for Davis. RJ, Cadeau, they're going to give him all the space. Corner three done. Carolina's so quick to get the ball down the floor. Jackson, but 15 points in the first half, and he has not sat for a second of tonight's game. Another missed free throw. Lowe has struggled from the line the last two games. He's an 89%. Lowe nearly picked that pass off.
Good
See
pass.
if the Tar Heels can make him pay for it. They cannot. Austin with another blocked shot. Powell will lay it in off the block, and that snaps. Near perfect shooting day for the Florida State transfer. His first missed free throw to begin a 1-and-1.
Is that the jinx? It was that's what you did.
I said it was.
And BC in front of the 4:35 mark by 2. Venning, little fadeaway, not going to go.
Yeah, they're going to be the team that's going to be playing a lot more freely, a lot more loose.
Ejection underneath. Carolina gets it back and into takeaway. Here's Brown again, and this time a rare miss from Dion Brown.
Basket's going to tighten up.
Off the screen, Payne, the left-handed jumper is off the mark, and Powell the rebound, and now the Tar Heels a chance to take the lead.
Play turns into a bucket for him on the offensive end.
Johnson into the paint. And the first jumper on the way from Salas won't go. He's only 32% from beyond the three-point line. Neither one of these. Wake Forest has been trailing most of this half. Hildreth will lift, and he can't hit the triple. On the run, Davis. Not going to wait. Left deep. Salas looking for a blow-by. Left it short. Davis the other way with a full head of steam. RJ with the last 7. There's Reynaud from downtown. And a good box out there by Powell.
Well, and if you're Hubert Davis, you want him taking that shot. That's going to win you a lot of games.
Rebound by Powell. Kicks it out to Davis. Into the right corner. Bang! And their only loss in the league came against what's looking to be a potent Louisville Cardinal team. Davis for 3.
A little surprised when I told you that as a young player, he did not shoot the basketball well. He's a guy that's putting a lot of work in on the jump shot. But you can see the work is paying off.
Look at this. Powell the length of the floor. To run it down, he'll recover against Trimble. And fire with,
I'm not sure he knew that there was 10 shot on the shot clock.
And here's Trimble on the run out, and he lost it.
It is absolutely on tape. ESPN Plus.
I want a red flag. I want the red flag.
We can find it on ESPN Plus.
Off the stick back. I'll get you poor folks out of this right here.
But you see the trap coming immediately once he turns his back.
Petragas down the lane, and Powell will snatch the rebound away.
And that's a great defensive possession because you're able to finish it with
37. He has 8 points. Powell nearly lost his footing. Very deep down for Lubin in the basket.
and another bucket inside.
The sophomore from West Orange, New Jersey. Back out for Powell. Cadeau hits it. Boy, if he does
enough to do that, the challenge is if it's going to be Duke. That's a great challenge.
Down the floor for Jackson as layup ties him.
The question to you is, between Auburn and Duke right now, like, do they try to seek out opportunities for their teammates? Like, that's what you look for. This is a group that does that.
Good screen by Lubin. He frees Davis. His third three.
More and more teams
for the lack of bad losses and for the way they're playing down the stretch, if they finish the season strong.
Do you have a problem as Washington hits? Do you have a problem if they get in?
RJ Davis continues to move up that list. Year number 5 for him. Washington with the catch will lay it in. And a beautifully run drive by North Carolina.
Absolutely. Oaks have ended the four, however.
Conversely, they're all critical for North Carolina. Trying to get back into that NCAA tournament picture. They're going to work it deep inside for Washington.
And after you switch defensively, there's always going to...
Well, take a look at this one, everybody. At Chapel Hill, North Carolina, the Tar Heels getting off to a tremendous start. Powell will swing it. Davis thought about a triple. He'll drive it instead and made it. And he's off to the line looking for a three-point play.
Back-to-backs at Pittsburgh on the road. Data Ames seems to love these orange uniforms, especially when they get away from home.
On the cut, Trimble lays it in. A well-run play by Carolina.
The big for him among the nation's leaders in assist-to-turnover ratio, but everybody's been generous with the ball tonight. For NC State, Washington's all by himself inside, and he's got a half dozen.
I don't know why Mike Starling's second foul, but he stays on the floor for Syracuse. Jackson shot fakes the three, step back, and Ian Jackson, who did not hit a field goal on Monday, scores on it
and getting an easy pass. Just get him involved in the action. Good things happen.
Into Lubin. McLeod was late off the ball screen, and a stump for Van Allen Lubin, who has four.
Stay in games. Can you keep it together? I think the zone's been good. It's been disruptive.
Withers gets the roll at a new season high. 13 for Jalen. Here comes Jackson. Good transition defense by Bell. Powell inside. Withers again. Jalen Withers with the best performance of him.
If you think that should happen, right? Davis fires it up there, but no. Powell kept it alive. And that one goes down for Cadeau. And again, not his forte. It's really
problem with Auburn remaining at number one. And again, Alabama has some losses that Duke and Auburn don't have. And so when you consider that, I like the way they did it.
Comes spinning inside. Comes out free to Powell. Up ahead, and Tyson will lay it in. Cade Tyson's brother Hunter played at Clemson.
Lubin with the rebound, and here comes R.J. Davis. Cadeau to the open man in the corner, back out to the trailing Trimble. Draws the contact, and they're going to count the basket, and a chance.
Disfrutar del desempeño que tiene aquí. La ley del comentarista, no hablas bien de un jugador y te queda mal. Pero es tremendo lo de Cooper.
In college, you got a 10-second differential. And trying to get a steal. Instead, it's a dunk by Lubin. Blocking one in, slam on the other. And Carolina
will lift. And he can't hit the triple. On the run, Davis. Knock it away. Left-handed. Yes, he'll lay it in.
Love that attack by R.J. Davis. Just one-on-one. He and
just growing. It's good to see him blossom there.
Drake Powell, the freshman, trying to go along the baseline. And how about that shot? Banking it in. I don't know about that.
For just successful like Lubin has been for the second time in this game.
Jackson in the corner. Powell, a shot fake. Drive. Tried to feed Van Allen. He caught it and scored. Largest lead of the night now for the Tar Heels.
the dribble. Inbounds pass. Parker couldn't handle it. Here's Powell the other way. Bounce pass. Davis goes up and under around Middlebrooks for the bucket.
And that's what you can't do if you're North Carolina State.
Tolu against Bilal Lubin. And a double team. Bell forces the turnover. 5 of them now for the Mustangs. And Cadeau off the Powell pass.
That's perfectly executed, Wes.
And it bounds away. Got the rebound. Jackson tees one up. The captain is on the board.
Now have to reset and recalibrate.
Powell, Davis, Cadeau shape it up. Davis on the drive. Rattles in, and he passes Armando Bacot. The out.
Perfect. 3 for 3 from the field. Powell didn't see Lubin inside. Deep shot clock. Davis. Foul, and he hits another. Well, why stop at 300? In the moment where he discovers his shot and never lets up. What a pass. Tyson in from Powell. Good finish. And Drake Powell, the strong distribution.
Fumble. Jackson, the drive, the hang time, the score.
Boy, some energy
Still having a hard time finding it from three, and there's an easy one.
Stop, cut to the basket and was able to finish.
R.J. Davis. Deep three. Second three for R.J. Davis.
All their different shot types, etc. You're seeing it more and more in the college game.
Yeah, but also, Nate Oates has higher guys from the NBA. You see the great pass right there by Powell.
Of course, easy flush. North Carolina looking for a three here. 3 for 25 from beyond the arc. And there's Trimble knocking one down.
Off by Trimble. Easy pickings.
Drake Powell had a good look.
Cadeau with the look.
Cadeau got an even better look. Knocks it.
Got off the mark. Ian Jackson
And
corrals the board.
Numbers for Carolina right now, 5-on-4. Ian Jackson has to take advantage of it.
Here's Trimble from the corner. That's good.
They recognized it. Dylan Cardwell goes down. You got
a 7-0 run. Off balance attempt there by Pettiford, and now numbers for Carolina. Powell, extra pass, corner. Jackson, got it.
That's the one more. They didn't get it on the first.
As we reach the 10-minute mark, that got blocked away by Van Allen Lubin, and here's Powell with Trimble live. Elon back to a 10-point deficit. Corey, I think we're going to have to watch it unfold. Yeah, is there an asterisk to it? Probably by most. There's Tyson's first points as a Tar Heel.
Engage the big man to give Malawatz enough time to get to the rim.
Malawatz closing in on a double-double. Into the paint, picked off by Gillis.
Now the 10th turnover for the Tar Heels.
All through that victory. Out to Powell on the run. Trying to go in strong, and that's going to be an offensive.
And that is Cameron Hilder's game. That's what he does to start this game as well.
Powell off the fake, the spin, nothing there, and stolen away by Harris.
Nice job by Juke Harris helping in off the.
Understand you got a lot of pick and pop bigs for Miami. They're really not pressing down low, and you're switching a lot if you're Carolina. These turnovers are just too much.
Cleveland left it short. Davis had a chance.
Ajo ya. Cabó detrás de la espalda. El balón perdido. Lo retoma Duke. Cooper flag. Otro robo de balón. El tip le cae a Cooper flag. Sin voltear a ver. Casi de todos ellos. Buena defensa de North Carolina, encontrando en la defensa de toda la cancha un remedio, al menos en este tramo.
Minute left. Here's the senior, R.J. Davis. And a good feed underneath to Powell, who forced that one extra pass rather than going up.
He should have taken that,
to get one.
Right. Almost by accident.
Yes.
Powell rifles the pass out. So that'll be 8 turnovers for the Heels.
And fire with, I'm not sure he knew that there was 10 shot on the shot clock. And here's Trimble on the run out, and he lost it.
That was a disaster.
A double team there into the corner. Here's Powell against Edwards. To Van Allen Lubin, it got knocked away and turned over, and here is Chuck Harris. One of the 2 returning with Harris over here to the near side. You got Edwards up top with Cross and Yigatolu protecting the rim. Powell had it stripped from behind by Edwards. Carolina turnover. Mustangs on the run. Edwards flipped it up.
Been a lot of opportunities for SMU to get out in transition.
Here's Powell. Tried to save it to Withers and threw it away. Turnover on the Tar Heels. Miller going to streak to the basket and draws the foul from Jalen.
And hope that he's able to carry you to the finish line.
Powell, the up fake, he stepped out of play, out of bounds.
That's zoom action right there. R.J. Davis accelerates off that so well.
Stolen away. Rain Smith poked it free.
Stefanovic, all-purpose player. And can make shots, put it on the deck. Nice strip. Clock with the steal. And that's his game.
He's moving to do some damage in that low box area.
Pass almost flew into the crowd.
That's the third
time.
Third time on the end line. Sideline.
Double-digit turn.
Hey, you can beat us.
Right. And that happened a lot, unfortunately.
Yeah, and I know that Hubert doesn't want to play that way.
There's a takeaway, 2-on-1, and left-handed. Regular players are still in the game. So he may not clear that bench until about a minute or two left in the game. There's a turnover by Powell.
Well, I would think, too, you know,
there's nowhere to go. Powell attacks and walks with it. Traveling violation on Drake Powell. Well, play on. Back to it. 8 to go. 1-point game in the ACC opener. And that's an illegal screen set by Drake Powell.
And look at the effort there. Cohen Carr going down to the hardwood.
But here's the problem. Cohen Carr's on the floor. Ben Lubin's trying to pick it up.
That's the 4th three for the Eagles, and Rogers, the preseason Pat League Player of the Year, has got 8, and then he flies in to take away the pass from Powell.
I gotta say, the game is being played.
Perplexed in Plaid on the Carolina sideline. The American fans, a couple of rows deep behind the bench, just rose to their feet, and now they'll go.
Stops, especially the clock.
And is that ever true? Deflected and stolen by Powell right on the baseline.
And Wake Forest has to foul.
Different story for this Tar Heel program. Yeah, last season ACC champions. Good steal by Drake Powell. And the fans loving the effort on defense.
Very impressed. Yes, he made it very clear to us earlier. He said, listen, I've heard a lot of talk about this North Carolina team, but it's not the team that I saw.
Powell after the turnover. Scores inside the ACC. Number 2 all-time. R.J. Davis continues to move up that list. Year number 5 for him. Washington with the catch.
Look how far out Michael O'Connell has to go to get the ball to start the offense.
Middlebrooks lost it. NC State has already exceeded its season average
nationally this year. I don't have a problem with Auburn remaining at number 1. And again, Alabama has the losses that Duke and Auburn don't have. And so when you can,
Jeff Capel calling it their defensive stamina. They're just losing focus at the end of these defensive possessions.
A takeaway by Drake Powell. Davis off the head
with Baycott.
Dunn lost it. Still loose. Trimble's got it for Carolina. Davis. Guillermo Diaz's grand pass is knocked away by Powell.
What a play by Powell. Basket-saving play.
Flag en todo un partido, disfrutar del desempeño que tiene aquí. La ley del comentarista, no hablas bien de un jugador y te queda mal.
Defended by Cadeau. And 1 foul to give. And Carolina nearly a takeaway. 1 point.
You see, OB, what the guards allowed North Carolina to do, picking up 94 feet.
Going for the lob, but picked off by Powell. He read that one beautifully.
It goes back to my issue of if we get 5 in this year, how it wasn't a struggle. I mean, Pittsburgh and Wake Forest should have been in the tournament last year.
So, 100%.
So if you're talking about 5 this year, and what was...
Hill is impressive, isn't he, in transition?
Yep. Really attacks with the dribble. Inbounds pass. Parker couldn't handle it. Here's Powell the other way. Bounce pass. Davis goes up and under around middle.
Well, Traore is more of an inside operator for SMU.
Colbert tried to bounce it through traffic, turned it over. Nice lead pass. Davis will try and finish. It got slapped off the glove. Miller, left corner. Here's Harris. And how about that? Drake Powell reached in, knocked it away for R.J. Davis.
Here's Martin. Pass interrupted. Nice job there by Powell. Had his hands up.
Davis in transition.
Nelson with Lubin on his hip. No contact. Davis got hit. Powell steps in the passing lane, grabs it. Up ahead, Davis. Here in Chapel Hill. Lob attempt, and Nelson overshot Powell.
Dream of his kids being able to go at each other, the Maui Invitational on ESPN in a high-stakes game.
Broom passed into a crowd. And that is the first turnover of the school basketball tournaments held in Honolulu, Hawaii. So that's now 3 basketball trips he's made out to the islands.
Not bad.
And a kick is going to be called.
Wide open, Davis, no. Shot has not fallen so far this season for Davis, and then Stevens just over-dribbled it a few too many.
Wanting to play for the Tar Heels and realizing his dream to be able to do that for the home state group.
And here is Powell, open floor, with Simpkins trailing.
Look at the 68, followed by bracketology with breakdowns of each region. Then at 8, the women's bracket of 68 will be revealed. Carolina on a run out. Trimble with the slam. Davis lost the dribble. Picked off, and Duke collects it. 61-46. Knipple on the drive. Great defense there by North Carolina to get back and prevent it. Shoot the 3, the 2 instead, and Reed with the rebound. And they want to push the tempo. Salas denied. Powell got in there. Here's Johnson straight on. That clangs away.
Line, open space, attacked open space. Hard to defend that.
And it is a highly intelligent fan base here in North Carolina. They know the position that they're in. They've got to win.
I can on a made basket. I keep utilizing that zone to just slow the game down.
Carlos swatted by Powell. Trimble sees Jackson down the floor. The explosive Six would be 3rd in the ACC with enough games to qualify. Starling, long steps, and Powell gets that out of here. Jackson all the way. And Syracuse only hit 4 threes. At some point they're going to need one. We'll see if this is the point. Well, Starling will drive it, try to draw the foul, missed badly. Lampkin. Got to be
the first time since November game against Auburn.
Novi Seth Trimble actually leads North Carolina in rebounding, which is very rare. Drake Powell with the big rejection on the other side, but give Foster credit for sticking to it.
Deep into those game notes. It's always cool when you come back here to see all the banners. Of course, Jamison is up there. Powell blocks the shot from Lowe, who gets it back. Puts it.
The duo of Washington and Lubin. Rejected by Powell. Rebound to Stanford.
And out of there, Taylor. Now Hill. Working against Powell. Blocked away, and Middlebrooks collects. Yep. Ian Jackson's got 7 now. Quick look. Miller had it blocked. Edwards. Now Davis on the run.
Chat regularly.
I'm sure they do.
There's, of course, a little bit of talking back and forth, but they both talk about just being in the presence of great. So what a rejection there by Powell. The other names on the list to be in that.
Right now, and now in 2nd place as R.J. Davis ascends to the top of the Carolina record books. Powell with a rejection on the other side, and then Cadeau feeds Davis.
Fourth North Carolina turnover. 2 of those were self-inflicted. Nice help that time by Trimble. And another block underneath by Powell. Pretty good reaction. Washington goes right.
Condon to the paint. Zipping it downstairs. And a nice block on that play by Powell. And a whistle.
7 points, which was tied last year by Dalton Connect for Tennessee. Had a chance to tie it or break the record, Tom, but was hurt on the play.
Fears stuffed at the rim. It stays here at this end. 3, 4. Tipping off on Sunday at 8 Eastern on ESPN, 8:30 Eastern. Drake and Vanderbilt again on ESPN.
8:30 Eastern.
The last few possessions.
This guy's got 3 50-year players on the floor, American. It's not a team built with transfers. Great find by Rogers, and Smalls has waited too long. The freshman Powell. Another missed three. Carolina still has not hit from deep.
It's a good miss, though.
Smalls. Oh my goodness. Just two-hand grab by It's like every shot he's taking.
But there's more to the story there. It doesn't matter whether he makes it or not.
I'm not disagreeing with you. Another two-hand demolition.
And 11-point lead, Kansas.
Elevator screen. Not this time for Mayo. What a rebound by Badunga. And he stays with it.
North Carolina getting the win. I'm not sure Hubert Davis will be happy with the way they finished the game, but I think he will like a lot of defensive effort from his team.
And Nick Dorn shot.
Delivery from Cadeau to Van Allen Lubin, but I'm not sure twos are going to be able to beat the Blue Devils.
Tom Knipple, big-time drive for another bucket.
Especially when you can't stop.
Wake Forest by 3 and the ball. Salas off the fake and gets the foul on Powell.
That's a vet move. That's a senior put up for him. Want teams take him seriously when he's going to the rim looking to get a bucket.
Eldridge jumping in the paint, draws the foul. Could not connect, but he does take a hit.
Going to get that offensive rebound, standing his ground defensively.
Salas again. Great determination. He was not going to be denied.
We've seen that.
Got Fort Bellew shot clock a factor, down to 4 now.
I'm not sure they know.
Salas with a shot. Can't stick it. Big fight for the rebound and a whisk today. In a low-scoring affair in the 50s. Salas to penetrate. Sticks it.
I'll tell you what, how about the battle that we've had?
And a great pass by Cadeau.
And the lob executed perfectly.
Salas fighting back for 2. Got to hurry. Salas gets a long one in the air. He can't stick it.
Malik Brown sitting with his second. And North Carolina's only got 2 rebounds in this game. The nipple no. Tipped into the hands of Davis. Go after him. Nearly a turnover on the first possession. Proctor. Boy, used that left arm to shield off Powell and knock down the shot.
With him in a game that's 0-0 after 5 minutes.
The teams are 7 for 11 so far. No turnovers yet. That jumper by Johnson too short. Rebound.
He's doing a little more facilitating. He's managing the game a little bit more, and I think that's important, particularly when you have young talent around you. Matthew Cleveland, what a dog, man.
Up top, very simple.
Here's Watkins. Watkins on the move, mid-range jumper short. FSU with
that coming in, and the Tar Heels are a different team going into that game than they were going into Cameron Indoor a couple of weeks ago.
Watkins takes the bump. This final seconds of the first half. Rhodey with a high dribble. Up against Powell, put the shoulder down. They traveled with it.
Evan Keats getting hurt. Youngster a little bit of run here. Taylor's had a pretty good offensive night and find some friendly snowy nights.
Good luck finding that model, but you got good incoming freshmen, yet you get the right juniors and seniors to maximize their potential.
And Syracuse maybe wasn't thought of. Syracuse has not made a sub in the last 4 minutes. Starling. Boy, what a tough shot that is. Only hit 4 threes. At some point they're going to need one. We'll see if this is the point. Well, Starling will drive it, try to draw the foul, missed badly. Lampkin.
To bounce it here for Dillon. Chase on the move. Off the fake, draws the foul. And he'll be shooting here.
At all of any environment that they'll see on the road.
Comes spinning inside. Comes out free to Powell.
The one-offs as far as, having great perimeter, really good perimeter players, but not much inside.
That is outstanding.
And the jumper, and he'll go to the free throw line. Only attempted now 7 3-pointers in this game. Not a surprise, their shooting percentage would be so much higher. Layups a lot better.
Salas on the dribble from the foul line and no. One and done.
I believe that was.
Move him inside, blocking shots, rebound.
Fletcher uses the Sissoko screen against Powell and knocks down the jump shot. Javon's
Carolina has the ability to stretch the floor even beyond the three-point arc, but yet to hit one this season.
There goes Andre to the rack. Layup falls off. Sissoko battle.
Oh, I mean, come on, let's talk about, you know about New York City guards.
All freshmen are not created alike.
This is true.
Wilkinson the pull up, and Lubin another rebound. Coach Keats.
Styles, the last two Wolfpack field goals. That one's short. Washington the rebound of a shot, I think.
And see why they are 11-3 and 2-1 on the season. There's Cross, and Jackson another rebound. 6'9" senior has done a nice job off of Andy Infield's bench here.
Yes, he has. And again, Wes, the more shots North Carolina misses, the more opportunity.
Too open. That's a play they looked at. Shoot around and just a defensive breakdown that time.
Tay Davis, that's probably his first aggressive drive. Tay Davis, one of several Irish players, had some foul issue in the first. Draws the foul here. Hands. Tay Davis, Shrewsbury in that right corner. Contested, rejected, and he stays with it.
Edwards Jr. crossover, rejected at the rim. Drake Powell.
He's gotten a couple of offensive rebounds.
Dugan inside, making a career high 17 for Dugan.
A third or fourth opportunity here at more points. And on the runner, they still don't get it. Finally, North Carolina's got a rebound.
That's 11. Fears the drive. And it's Withers getting it off.
Any game where they allow an opponent to shoot 50% from the field.
And again, it is Fears able to maintain. Michigan State by 6. Fears.
You got to say fearless.
Here is Jeremy Fears with 6 seconds to shoot. Controlling out front. He's going to hoist. And that's going to hit nothing.
Give Drake Powell a lot of credit.
Assists against Hawaii on Friday. Santos, amid a crowd, goes a little too strong off glass. Look how quickly.
Big moment for Drake Powell, of course, growing up wanting to play for the Tar Heels and realizing his dream to be able to do that for the home state group.
And here is Powell open.
NIT. But the dream was to play in the NCAA this season.
Salas with the drive, can't follow his own miss. No. Sir Mohammed handing off for Burton. Burton trying to carry it all the way through, but can't make that. Maybe feeling a little bit too much. Not one three-pointer all season.
Yeah, it was a little uncharacteristic.
Yes. Davis inside, went for the slam, draws the whistle. The Irish mascot continues a very enthusiastic day as Burton went inside, and he'll draw the foul, but, I mean...
And it flattened out the defense, took all space out of the offense, and also disrupts rhythm.
Cleveland to pull up pop, well short. First game of the day. North Carolina cannot afford a slip-up. There's a long-range shot by Schwartz that'll clang away. Rebound. Grateful.
I believe it was the least points that Carolina has scored in a win since like the 40s.
Right.
So again, yeah, two completely.
The ACC with enough games to qualify. Starling, long steps, and Powell gets that out of here. Jackson all the way.
Game notes. It's always cool when you come back here to see all the banners. Of course, Jamison is up there. Powell blocks the shot from low, who gets Corin battling Washington inside. Dunn down the lane, hangs in the air, no. Another denial this time.
And averages already. Quiet start for Dunn. Mid-range 2. There's the first basket for Damian Dunn. Every Kelvin Sampson system that is Houston, that meat grinder defense. leg it. Very deep three. And Corin tips it up and in.
All these 50-50 balls, they're so active, and they both have cat-like abilities to get into the play and make things.
3% as a team. Wake only makes 29% from three. Hildreth attacking, and he'll go to the line as he hits the deck.
Rim, and again, talk about the combination of production from Lubin and Washington.
Yeah, they're really doing it. Davis has 12. And Reynaud tried the tip, tried to get the rebound, and was
way bigger than Campbell. So Campbell's going to have to do a really good job forcing them out to the perimeter.
And Campbell gets the stuff inside. That's Caleb Zerlini, who is the leading scorer at about 15 a game. It's a short-handed Georgia Tech team dealing with injuries to a couple of starters. Nate George swirls one out, and free throws.
Sounds like the NBA. Sears inside, off the glass, and good. Nice job by Mark Sears.
Here's Frankie Fiddler coming off the bench for the first time this season. Stops and pops from the free throw line, and then he sort of gestured.
Plays. Ian Jackson, a.k.a. Captain Jack, is absolutely up for the task.
Johnson trying to muscle his way. Good box out that time, which is one of the top high school basketball tournaments held in Honolulu, Hawaii. So that's now 3 basketball trips he's made out to the islands.
Not bad. Okay. Sherry with 8 to shoot. And the left-handed Tawan Simpkins in this jump shot. On a bench, by the way.
That's called a double team.
Yeah. Van Komen with 5 to shoot. A step back, and TK Simpkins rattles out the 3. Trimble.
Back for Mohammed, wants that baseline. And a long one, yes, on target.
Action for both teams. Hayward and Middlebrooks, deep position. They swing it. O'Connell for 3. Middlebrooks keeps it alive. Near missed catches for NC State. They're having trouble with basically passing and catching the basketball. Look at that block out. That's
hard to the basket. And the thing you like about the way Ben Allen Lubin's playing in the second half, he's taking everything to dunk.
Taylor, a wild shot.
Heels have not trailed. Carlos. Nestorovic cleans it up. Taylor shot ready. A 3. 2-possession game again. Carlos swings it. Kyle Cuff barely played in the game. Bricks a 3.
Schaefer getting it done again at Texas. That place, the Moody Center will be rocking for that game against South Carolina.
Jorge Diaz-Gran off the bench. Austin got it. Pittsburgh 51. Leggett spins into a double team. Austin beats the buzzer. Nothing but net.
Foster, Knippel precisamente con el pase. Proctor, buena pinta. Knippel precisamente falla. Maluak, tremendo rebote. La defensa. Knippel para Flag. No habían coincidido en la duela hace buen rato. Knippel, el triple completamente desviado. Bueno, vaya que lo aprovechó al 100% este muchacho. Tyrese Proctor.
A slow start for Lowe as well. Lubin's been doing a great job battling Corin down low every possession.
This time, Corin wins the battle.
These records that are being broken, and it's no shot to the players that are breaking them. But obviously, the more years you play, the more points that you're able to accumulate.
Yeah, just context is good.
Exactly.
With that, and for him to come in cold, having not played in forever, to give that.
Oh my gosh, Brown does near in the ACC, but they have 3 of the top 18 scorers in the league. And bang from the corner is Donovan.
I'm a hitter's guy.
Way outside, in and out on the tray by Ryan.
Best way we can do is try to attack him, maybe pick up some fouls.
In the corner, and it's good, and that puts the Cardinals.
And Davis tried to make the play to the slashing Jackson. Turned it over. Here's Stojakovic, who's got just the single field goal. Back for a three by Blacksher. He draws, dropping down. 11-point lead for the Tar Heels after Drake Powell's 18th three of the year. Petrides tries to answer. Cannot. Here's Davis.
O'Connell on the ball screen. Pass, a three. Hill, another rebound and score. Still got to work at it. Senior from Fort Lauderdale, transferred from Clemson. Styles, a three out front. And the rebound, Jalen Withers on the floor for the first time.
Put it on that possession.
Carolina's gone on a 6-0 run to break a 6-all tie. Oquendo, a triple from the left. And the rebound for Jackson in the ball. Back for Cross. Oquendo, left side Harris, a three. And he'll get his own rebound.
Win the game and turn the ball over, they're going to be even
smaller. That's right. Here's Miller. Long three by Traore is off the mark.
He shoots.
A go for San Jose State. 4 minutes to go. Miller cashes into the corner. Goriner's three.
Now there's previous stops. Goriner
making the rebound, and here comes B.J. Edwards and SMU on the attack. Oquendo, a kickback for an Edwards three. And that'll bounce out of bounds.
Edwards snakes behind that ball screen.
Waterman, a heat check. Ian Jackson so explosive, but he's missed 3 layups in this first half. Catch and shoot, Rain Smith. That's what he does best. Teams at 8 and 5, just as ACC play is starting to heat up. Critical conference game, and the Cardinals are rolling.
For 5 tonight. Sinani. Swinging around Zerlini. In and out on the three for Campbell.
That was really good ball movement.
Point efforts for the freshman. Zerlini for three. Campbell suddenly getting hot.
Bryan to the Georgia Tech bench with 2 early fouls. Here's Lance Terry back from the calf injury. Kept him out all of last year. How about Onwu Chekwa?
All-American squaring on. Reed to the corner, and Holloway. That wouldn't fall. Loose ball. Filon gets a piece of the paint, kick out. And that'll go for Aiden Holloway.
And Trimble with the active hands. Broom thought about it. Extra pass. It's Jones. Got it.
Huge response.
That play. 12 turnovers for North Carolina here in this first half. Bennett will try another three, and he'll knock down another three. That is 7 cheeks for 3. That one doesn't go. Offensive rebound by Simon. Here's Bennett from the corner. That's good. Dayton continues to respond. Miksha again, catch and shoot. That's a couple of threes that he's now drained.
Florida, UCLA, Maui Invitational. I mean, Carolina has loaded up this non-conference. It's going to be great for Powell. Ian Jackson, another great freshman who's out today with a minor leg injury.
Not figure it out. You have to aggressively seek him out and assertively shoot him.
Mercedes, good skip. Mayock rattles in a three.
Manage his own athleticism. Not something you think about, but his footwork needs to be better because of how well he can move.
I mean, look at him try to block that 3-2-hander. Gosh, he plays.
Reed finding Hildreth. Big drive, no. Rebound knocked around. Great effort by.
Just knocked the ball away. Really fought James.
Knipple with 3 on the shot clock. Gets a tough shot off and hits.
He is one.
Make it not the case, right? Let's find some consistency. Then you keep good coaches around. People understand how you can actually compete and win at this level with consistency.
For Pitt, Austin unable to get rid of the basketball before Trimble recovered. Done into the lane, and a foul against Carolina. The second defender gets the ball out of the hands of Lowe. Austin gives it back to him. 10 to shoot. Down the lane. Up. Ooh, Corey tried to throw it down. Couldn't. Carolina.
And into that blue area in the paint at will whenever he wants.
Ish Leggett spinning and scoring.
What a move.
Now you got Diaz-Graham. For a moment he was messed up on Cadeau. He'll take it into Powell. And Guillermo has some free
looks. Have been getting good shots. They just have not been executing, and they've been making them here today, just getting closer shots.
Did they pick up Harris saying something he should have? Here's Hildreth with 2 on the shot clock, a foul away. Yes! He hits a 2-pointer.
But I think we can get 5 in. But it goes back to my issue of if we get 5 in this year, how it wasn't a struggle. I mean, Pittsburgh and Wake Forest should have been in the tournament last year. So,
1-1 on the road. The one road win was at Boston College. There's the drive. Oquendo couldn't finish. That ball got knocked toward the Tar Heel bench.
Alako playing with 2 fouls, calls the break. Shrewsbury spinning out of the corner. Hoist near the horn. A misfire.
I'm sure they do.
There's, of course, a little bit of talking back and forth, but they both talk about just being in the presence of grace. So what a rejection there by Powell. The other names
on those cuts. Got to keep everybody in front.
Rain Smith driving off the window and in for 2.
With the offhand.
10 minutes into this first half. This is Jayon Simon. Strong drive on the baseline. At 19 points for R.J. Davis. The lead down to 5 here for Dayton. Bennett leaves it short. Out to Cheeks. Open to lead all scorers for Seth Trimble. Santos. Tough drive. Finish. +1.
Clean that up. Remember, it's legal guarding position prior to the last foot touching the floor. Nice shot fake by Stevens. Too deep on the 2, and here's Trimble.
Willingness to be coached. But he really wants to get better and is willing to listen.
Adams, another jumper off the back of the iron. And here comes Mayo looking for Adams. Now finds Passmore. Now Adams, and he lays it in. Boy, the ball sure
win. I'm not sure Hubert Davis will be happy with the way they finished the game, but I think he will like a lot of the defensive effort from his team. And Nick Dorn shot.
Without 2 outstanding players, and the man many believe is the best college player in the country on the bench, still firing on many cylinders. In for Knipple, quick shot, well short. Here's Trimble.
Absolutely, when Wedgie happens, everything stops, especially the clock.
And is that ever true? Deflected and stolen by Powell. Burton on the drive, can't finish that one, and a foul against
And Van Allen Lubin, the 2 big guys, front court players who start and are in the game right now for Carolina. Flag the pull-up, no, and Withers comes down for the rebound. A nice job. Flag, who you got? It's like it changes every day. Well, I thought Van Allen Lubin was right there to tip that ball in. Thought he got fouled. Tipped out. Here comes Trimble. They're on a 7-game winning streak, and those 7 wins came by an average of 32 points per game. And
There's so many options with the flare screen, particularly having that whole side of the floor and the baseline and block wide open.
Deep 3 by Shoot, off a screen by Poteet. Carolina.
I think there are other teams out there, but if the bubble's soft, I don't mind taking the team that tested themselves early and put themselves in a tough spot, so long as they're playing well as of late. And to get those shots off quicker, huge ceiling in his game.
Johnson missed it, and it's cleaned up by Wessler. So back-to-back.
2024 ACC Player of the Year, just a magical season for him a year ago.
And won the West Award as well. And out by Sharma coming on.
Also distributing the basketball.
There's Stojakovic over Powell. Back rim miss, and
North Carolina ranks offensively #1 in the ACC and 19th overall at 86 points.
Tied last year by Dalton Knecht for Tennessee. Had a chance to tie it or break the record, Tom,
but was hurt.
And fewer. He's just down to 8 minutes a game. He's played more than that in this second half alone. And a three.
Theme of the Tar Heels 18.
But that is the strength of North Carolina. They have guys coming off the bench that can get buckets. Speaking of guys coming off the bench, getting buckets, Trey Hopp.
Johnson, good hesitation, got the defender up on springs and finished.
Chaney Johnson.
Smith brings it across. Goes baseline, kicks it to the corner. Santos somehow knocks down the contested three.
Dickinson's a high-level rebounder.
Griffin wide open for three.
Davis at the rim.
Gungba downstairs, beautifully run and laid in by Proctor.
Great cut, great pass.
Hate that I got the reference.
Inside to Young, he's fouled on the way up.
See, Virginia Tech.
So Virginia with it. Under 3.5 left. They get it down deep for Rhodey and an easy two. A scramble for that. Still on the deck. Tigers come away with it. Scheffler with a dribble down will scoop and miss from close range. Another rebound.
Guillermo Diaz's grand pass is knocked over.
Beadle, great feed to Brown, and he kisses it home. Career night for Brown.
Andre. Boy, really skilled, Corey, where he is on the floor.
But that's a bad trap.
They didn't need to.
You don't need to. Seth Trimble has Stojakovic.
Boy, Hill is impressive, isn't he, in transition?
Yep. Really attacks with the dribble. Inbounds pass. Parker couldn't handle it. Here.
Well, Traore is more of an inside operator for SMU.
Colbert tried to bounce it through traffic, turned it over. Ian Jackson's got 7 now. Quick look, Miller had it blocked, did Edwards. Now
backcourt, they run the floor hard and wide.
Great pass, Chucky Hubbard and Javon Hadley. Waterman off the feed from Scott. Noah Waterman.
And Carolina's offense has awoken here. 9 points in the first 3 minutes of the half. Another nice cut. This time Sinani was the distributor.
Holloman shovel pass. And the smash by Cohen Carr.
And just like the odds.
Slipping and falling was Holloman. Somehow Michigan State still has it. And finding Booker down low. It was Jeremy Fears with the assist.
And this is the type of stuff that you dream of as kids, being able to go at each other. The Maui Invitational on ESPN in a high-stakes game.
Broom pass.
This guy's got 3 fifth-year players on the floor, American. It's not a team built with transfers. Great find by Rogers, and Smalls has waited too long.
Be better on the glass and limiting other teams' second chance opportunities, which they had struggled with early in the year.
Bird doing a great job getting that contact as he got
Decide the ball movement's excellent. Good hands by Powell. Proctor still got it. Couldn't hit it, and it's Carolina ball. For North Carolina. 6 offensive rebounds, and 4 of them have been team rebounds, which meant the ball just went out of bounds, and they kept it. And Flagg just drove it about 40.
And a spin move in the lane. Crowd wanted to travel. Shot clock at 7. And this is Payne, a step back 3. Not going to be there. And Ian Jack
on the inbound to Salas. Shot clock down to 2. He will drive it and the fall away, and he makes one.
If you're Hubert Davis.
1972.
Look at the box scores on that one. My guy Brad Frederick on the Carolina bench.
There's a little floater by Blackshear, slapped out. They trained from Middlebrooks. Here's Styles, by the way. Montrez had a flurry and now gets an and one. All right. Miller, left corner. Here's Harris. And how about that? Drake Powell reached in, knocked.
And Edwards dribbles to the corner.
Shot clock down to 3. Brooks has to heave it, and he does. Off the mark.
Remember UNC without Seth Trimble tonight. Gregory driving, throws it up at the rim and scores it. There's the double fig.
AP Pagis on the floor. Getting it into Johnson. Fadeaway shot off the mark. Ian Jackson corrals the board.
Numbers for that bucket because with the speed he brought the ball up the court and got into the paint. You cannot jog back against Carolina. You have to sprint.
How about Adams? That's the second.